Hi guys. I just wanted to pop in today really quick. Yeah, right. I'm quite wired on caffeine this morning. And sunshine, at least for the moment. They're trying to block that out pretty hard here. I'm a little short of breath. I got some anxiety going. The caffeine, I'm sure. And I've spent 2 days like massively consuming candy, Halloween candy. Not my usual, but I know yesterday we had an X Flare, and then the day before that was like more the same, but protein density, and that stuff can get really sluggish. It can make you just feel like you're walking through mud. So, and it did quite feel that way. Plus the carb calling and just it's hard on those days to keep your spirits up and to know that you're still on the path, because it feels like a setback. It feels like where you've been before. So I hope you guys didn't fall victim to that. I go back and forth as to whether or not I should continue to know this information or if I should turn off notifications, because I've gone through a couple phones recently and it was a bit peaceful not knowing all that was going on. So yeah, and in situations like that, on days like that, it's nice to know the background information so I don't beat myself up so much. But really, I've been working a lot on this mind-body connection. Excuse my coughing in my voice. I woke up. Anytime I consume sugar, I wake up just like, yeah, grumbly and with lung booger balls and all that. It's not good. Mind-body connection. There's this guy that my friend told me about. Dan, I think is his name. Kind of ironic since that's my husband's name and he's the opposite of this guy. As far as like being, I don't know, I guess I wouldn't call this guy woo-woo or anything, but, understanding that everything's holistically connected. This video is rough. Sorry, guys. I've been practicing what he's preaching just a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks now, and I've caught myself numerous times get in a tizzy and my nervous system starts reacting, which would then cause symptoms normally. And I catch myself and I say, wait a minute, no. You are safe. Don't worry about it. Even if there is mold, even if there is dust, even if there is whatever, you're safe. You're fine. You're doing a great job. And just kind of start talking to yourself like that. And you just, like right now, I can feel it. I can feel the muscles in my back release. I can feel my breath slow down. I have needed this so much. The other day on Facebook, I had released some private, I guess it's not private if you put it on Facebook, eh? Some sexual trauma information, a part of my story. And that hasn't wanted to come out or be dealt with at all, despite doing 8+ years of regimented, consecutive energy medicine work. Reiki, but on top of that, like soul retrieval, cord cutting, stuff like that. But mostly Reiki. From some very talented practitioners, mind you. I also did a session of like laugh therapy. I can't remember exactly the name of that, but yeah, something or other. And that budged a little bit. I wasn't crazy about that one. But for some people, that can really be a very effective way to go. Although pricey initially. That runs about $300. But then any follow-up sessions are free on that. And it can undo a lot of the basic things, like unravel a lot. So maybe you won't have to do so much Reiki work. Or at least that's the principle there. Where was I going with all that? Yeah. So I said it online that it was finally approaching that stuff and letting some of that out to be seen and witnessed and dealt with was probably because I was working through Lugol's iodine, which it possibly was. Because I feel my thyroid coming back. I feel my adrenals healthier. It's really been effective. Now if you take that one, you gotta really rinse out to flush out all the halides or whatever, the fluoride and all that, that wants to come out once you start that treatment. So you need to do some salt water and some extra hydration until you pee each time with each dose, at least for the first week or two. Yeah, I had done several rounds with nascent iodine, and it's not the same beast. Now, at the time, I fully feel my body wanted me to go this route. Start with nascent, do 2 or 3 bottles, and now do the Lugol's treatment. So I'm feeling physically a lot better from that. And I'm doing stupid decisions or necessary decisions otherwise that I'm able to cope with, be it from the mind-body calming or from the iodine. So anyways, that stuff probably really came out because I had whispered to myself for a week and a half that I'm safe, and I hadn't probably told my body that since that incident when I was 17 or 18, which is really quite horrifying. You think of how many symptoms I created out of that fear connection. Practically all of it. I mean, sure, I had stuff go on before that already had some basis, underlying things, but I always knew that following that sexual trauma, that's when my endometriosis started. Now, I don't suffer from that anymore between the B's, and I did at one time have a laparoscopy surgery with cauterization that was quite gruesome. I got air trapped and I didn't know to move around to get it out. I don't know if I could have moved around even if I wanted to, because I could barely get to the toilet and back myself. Yeah, it took about a year to feel better following that surgery. I would never do surgery again. Nobody's opening up anything on me ever again. Knock on my Ford steering wheel. I suppose there are circumstances. I have heard of elderly people getting knees or whatever and actually feeling better. It's not like they're going to dramatically turn their lives around at that point. So there is some consideration that conventional medicine has a place in this day. And then, of course, if you cut your arm off or, something like that, then there's emergency medicine that I value. One time I threw the entire book at my daughter's seizures and could not budge them, and finally we got her to ER and they did make them stop. Now, they did cause a whole bunch of other things, but sometimes you gotta work back and undo what you can and just fix the immediate right now problem. But there was a whole bunch of fallout lessons from that one, and I'm not willing to unearth all that right now. So at a later date, I guess it's still processing. I know Big Fat Saturn was involved in that, from what I'm told, on her part anyways. My dog's breath stinks really bad. I don't know, can you see him? Say, hi, Winky. Hi, Winky. Come here. I got you guys propped up all catty-wonky because my new Google phone, this one doesn't have an auxiliary. So I'm pretty mad. I had to get this dongle dingle thing to plug it in. So now I can't just like prop you anywhere in my car. I got you like in the door handle. So that way the little dragon tail can hang down. But I'm making do. I did remember my speaker. Hopefully I didn't have that covered up. I keep that in my purse for any time I want to chat with you. And I got my nose ring mostly clamped down. I'm happy with it. I'm a little terrified because this one hoop, I don't know if you can see, it's a double there. The one hoop is just pretend, like it just comes out and it sits against the skin. So you have to be very mindful with drying your face, or even with I get tissues caught on it. And I went for an extra thin gauge, which is nice and dainty and was easier to get in, and mostly if I ever want to close it back up, I'm not like gauging out my nose ring. Not that I would ever go that big, but a traditional is a 20 gauge and this is a 22, so a step smaller. But yeah, if I catch that little extra hoop on something, the chances are greater that that would tear, which I don't even want to think about. But the things we do for soul healing and beauty and all that, I don't know. I'm grateful that these nails don't seem to be bugging me this time around. I'm not at least putting all my attention there, although I'm sure they take their toll. We emit energy from our fingertips, that is certain, and we have chakras in our hands and such, secondary chakras, but still. I don't know. I certainly can't even afford it. See, there's me digging a hole all the time with that lack theory. So I've been working on that too. I am abundant. I am so abundant. I can afford these all I want. But anyways, I might do one more. I got myself set up for red with a white tip for Christmas, so that'll be fun. And then I should probably take a break for the spring. I'm feeling very pushed to move towards some healthier things. GAPS diet again. I have joined this group that is starting a push for GAPS diet. It's a regenerative protocol, ancestral regenerative protocol, I think is the name of the group. Maybe I'll link it below. It was Facebook. I do like the farm, the people that are doing that. She's been doing it for a while. Oh geez, a leaf truck. So I hope to get more in the know about that as to whether or not I actually jump off that cliff. I don't know. I would like to make homemade bone broth. The one time I felt the best was when I was doing carnivore, and I was actually making a few homemade bone broths and or just drinking store-bought. But I have a hard time finding it now. Like, I can get stock, but the few bone broths I was getting without vegetable and stuff, they were extremely pricey and they were hard to find, and now they just quit carrying them. So not sure what's up with that, but it's frustrating. But yeah, I know I was at that point knocking back fungus, rinsing it out enough, the detox and the sugars that store in the fat cells, because you really have to hydrate when you're doing that, otherwise you're gonna get sick or imbalanced. Like, you can't just go eat meat and not add in that bone broth element to it. Sorry, I was looking at the street truck. But that freedom from the fungus was just immense. If you're interested, you can look back at my 2 videos, Carnivore and More, part 1 and part 2, and see how lifted I was those days and how lean and everything. And just the amazing, like, suddenly you want to clean out your whole house. You can see everything. I've said it before, but it's like being a master builder in the Lego movies. It's just boom, 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 boom. You don't think twice about getting rid of the things that need gotten rid of. You're clearing the path for the new you and the new future. So you can see I get excited about it. I want to start lifting. I have this dance coming up on the 21st that I'm nervous about. I have to fit my ass in a leotard. I've changed outfits now, though. I went from one that was quite revealing to one that's more covered up, and I think will be easier to work with because I'm a super magician here, and I've made some questionable decisions these last few days. But it really, as quick as it comes on, it comes off even faster. So that's the wonderful thing. All I have to do is go low carb or carb free for a couple of weeks, or not even, like 3 days, 4 days, and I start feeling feisty and at my fighting weight, or close enough to make me happy. I've come to a point in my life that I think I'm okay as long as I'm between a handful of sizes. Maybe that's how we're meant to be. Maybe we weren't supposed to always be. I don't really know. I mean, I guess back in the day they didn't take in and out their pants constantly, but I'm all right between 8 and 12, honestly. 14, I start to not be happy, and under 8 is just not going to happen anymore, and I'm okay with that. I wouldn't want it to, honestly. What else? So the dance, yeah, I need to find a way to practice more than, like, I'm really good about being consistent and going to class. I do my 1 a week. I've been adding the stretch class before, so I'm getting more physically fit, more flexible. I do some stretches at home. I do my releves. I can now do releve very easily. That will eventually play into me trying to get to my fouettes, turns, and some of those things down. But I need more practice. I know I kind of want to do ballet on Mondays, but adding a whole nother day when right now the kids are doing swim and we're starting to do all these meets. Although it appears that pretty soon we'll have a bit of a break until, I don't know, then an April season starts and things are a little bit different then. But I guess the winter's the big swim meet things. But I'm learning it, getting there, still enjoying it. The kids are doing all right. I don't know if it's super fun for them, but they are learning skills that I am so thrilled to give them. The ability to do hot and cold therapy, to exercise regimentedly, to shower regularly. Because we got them showering at school at the changing room. Not daily, but a couple times a week, which is a step up from where we were, and me fighting them like cats, trying to get them to shower at home or take a bath. And then it would be an all-day thing to get one, and then the other between a meal. It would be like a meal at the one end, and then fight one kid, and then fight the other kid, and then another meal, and then by the end of it, they're happy and relaxed, and my house is trashed, and I'm exhausted, and So this works out quite well. But I don't know. I guess I've talked your ear off. Oh, God. I got to get baby boy back on some teeth probiotics. I've kind of dropped the ball for a month or two, and I can tell big time. I don't know. It's supposed to be okay for cats and dogs, but I was a little nervous about the signs I was getting for adding it to the kitties' water, because they share water right now. Adding it to their water right now, but I think I'm going to have to, because old man can't have his teeth falling out. I'm getting signs to take him to a groomer, which is just nuts, but I can't fight him anymore on his paws and his little knots. I'm going to have to continue, and his nails. But I'm thinking like every 3 months, if I can find somebody that can work with him, I'm going to sit right there. No, not leaving him, and I'm not putting him in that blow dryer box. I will wrap him up in a towel and take him home, and, whatever's the least amount of trauma, try to get him some L-theanine or something before he goes in there, some CBD. But yeah, I don't know. There's been a little shift with that lately too. I stopped giving him all his pipettes full of stuff. Just leave the old man be. Try to work towards cleaning up the house. I'm super excited about what I got us for Christmas. We are going full grounding. I got him and the kittens a grounding pad for their spot, their bed. Although I want to get him a new bed too, but I'm not sure how much material I can put on top of the grounding pad and still have him ground. Probably not too much. And I got us all grounding sheets on Black Friday, so it was not the worst, but that's still a lot. My husband and I have 2 twin XLs, so I had to get 2 sheets there and then 2 for the girls. But I think it's just going to make a huge difference, because I think the combination of EMFs and negative traumatic energy trapped in that house, as much as I have tried, is the reason for such mold problems. And again, I don't know where the mold is anymore. I know at one point I did test a person in the household, and their urine came back saying we had the most neurotoxic strain, which is Stachybotrys chartutrum. I am safe. I am secure. It's okay. But it wasn't accepted fully by the person I work with. And sometimes you just gotta baby step it. Honestly, I can't go throwing my kids out in a tent. I just can't, people would show up. So we're getting there. Yeah, moving. Yeah, I want to. I will eventually. I want my farmhouse. Not to say that that's going to be any less moldy, but at least I'll have a historic fireplace and 2 or 3 stories and bats in the attic. And but I also know that I tend to take after my mom and have a bit of what do they call that, destination something or other, where the grass always looks greener. And that one's hard to break, and I'm working on it now to say, you know what, I'm happy where I'm at. There are things I love about that house. I've known that for a long time. I've spent 16 years there making it what I want it to be. Although there are so many projects that are like on hold. But again, my mind goes to GAPS diet and hitting back that fungus so I can do the projects, because he's busy at work. And sometimes when he sees that kind of energy, that kind of shift in me. Yeah, I know. You're restless. Then it motivates him. So, but all right, I'll let you go there. Have a happy holiday if I don't talk to you before then. And yeah, I hope you get everything you wish for.